All right, so today we are going to, sorry, my screen was dark. Okay, today we're going to talk about area of composite figures. And so you guys already know how to find the area of all of these shapes. So if you notice, we have a square and two half circles, right? So that's what's making the heart. And so really what we're doing here is we're finding the area of different shapes and just either adding them, like we would on these two, or subtracting them when it just wants to know the area of the shaded region. And so I'm going to walk through these notes with you, and then you can do some practice on your own. So let's start with the area of the square. I'll zoom in a little bit so you can see a little better. Okay. So here we have this square, right? So sometimes it helps some people to like shade it in a certain color so you know what it is. So that's the square, and I know the formula for an area of a square is side squared. You can also do length times width. It's the same thing. So area equals, I'm going to look at my side. So I see my side here is 3, and my other side is also 3. And so it's 3 squared. So A is equal to 3 times 3 is 9 inches squared. So I'm done with my square. So now I'm going to move on to my half circles. Now, since I have 2 half circles, I can really just find the area of one circle because 2 together makes one circle. So the area equals pi r squared. Area equals 3.14 times, well, what's the radius? Well, I know that from here to here is 3, right? Because all the sides, the edges of the square are 3. So the radius is half of that side edge. So half of 3 is 1.5. So 1.5 squared. Now you'll do this on your calculator, and what you'll do is you'll do 1.5 times 1.5 times 3.14, and you will get 7.065 inches squared. So now that you've done that, all that you need to do now is add them together, because we're combining the area of the square with the area of the circle. So the area of the square is 9, plus the area of the circle is 7.065. You'll add those together on your calculator, and you will get 16.065 inches squared, and that would be our answer. All right, moving on to this next one. This next one looks more complicated, but it's actually not, because it's just 3 shapes instead of 2. So the notes break it down for you. So we're going to start by finding the area of the half circle. So if we have a half circle, we're going to use the same formula, A equals pi r squared. But what do you think we need to do to it? We need to cut it in half. So area equals 3.14 times, well, the radius is half of the circle, right? So half is 10, and so 10 squared. When I do that on my calculator, I get 10 times 10 is 100, times 3.14 is 314. But remember, I want half of that. So half of 314 is 157 millimeters squared. So now we're done with our half circle. Now we're going to move on to the area of the rectangle. So my rectangle here, area equals length times width. area equals, well, my length, some people might say 32, but if you notice, that goes all the way to the end of my triangle here. So I just want to use the 20 and the 14. So 20 times 14. When I do that on my calculator, I get 280 millimeters squared. Now, lastly, I have the area of the triangle. So I know my formula is area equals 1/2 base times height. Well, area equals 1/2 my base. Well, ooh, what is my base? I don't know what that is, right? But what can I do? I can take the 32, which is the length all the way across, and subtract that 20. Because by subtracting the 20 from that whole length on the bottom, it's going to give me just this section here. So that would be 12. So 12 times my height is still 14. So A equals, when I do that on my calculator, I get 84 millimeters squared. Now, since I'm finding the total area of that whole figure, I'm going to add them all up. 157 plus 280 plus 84. And when I do that, I get 521 millimeters squared. So those two examples are how you find the area of a composite figure whenever we are adding up all of the shapes. So the next video is going to show you how to do the bottom two, which is just the opposite, subtracting one of the shapes. All right.